Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? It seems like AI is absolutely everywhere you look these days. Every headline, every article, every post. It's so much, in fact, that it's hard to know what to believe, you know?
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
Totally. That's why I wanted to take a closer look at this YouTube video y'all shared with us. They make a pretty bold claim in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're actually saying AI is going to be a bigger deal than the internet was.
Well, hold
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Bigger than the internet. Now that's a statement.
I know, right? Like,
Yeah.
where do you even start with something that big? So, to really get into it, we'll be covering everything from dancing robots to how the pandemic plays into this, and even, get this, how you can potentially make some money in this AI world that seems to be exploding all around us.
It's definitely food for thought, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so this video kicks off by really driving home how crazy fast technology is evolving. They make this analogy of going from, like, just walking around to suddenly strapping yourself onto a rocket ship.
I like that.
Right. It gets the point across. And they back it up with some hard numbers, too. See, back in the 80s, it took something like 30 years for TVs and mobile phones to really become mainstream, to hit the majority of households.
Yeah, almost.
But smartphones, boom, it only took 16 years for them to become, like, essential.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Practically everyone has a smartphone in their pocket these days.
Exactly. So their point is that we as a society are adapting to new tech at warp speed, especially when it comes to the internet. But then they ask, is AI the next giant leap?
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
For sure. But think about how this speed affects, well, everything. It's not just about having the newest gadget. It's about how this tech weaves itself into how we work, how we learn, even how we think, and at a crazy fast pace.
If AI follows that same trajectory, it's not just going to be big, it's going to be everywhere before we know it.
Exactly. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. They actually connect the rise of AI to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Remember how 5G towers seem to be popping up everywhere during lockdown?
Oh, yeah. You couldn't turn a corner without seeing one.
I know, right? Well, the video suggests that maybe that wasn't just a coincidence. Like, what if all the emotional trauma from that time, all that fear and uncertainty created this perfect environment for AI to emerge?
Hmm. It's an interesting thought. I mean, correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation, right?
Yeah.
But but I see what they're getting at. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no doubt the pandemic forced us to rely on tech even more than we already were.
Yeah.
Businesses were scrambling to automate. People were desperate for connection while they were isolated.
Yeah, yeah.
It all created this huge demand for what AI could offer.
Yeah.
So in a way, maybe the pandemic really was a catalyst.
It really makes you think, right? And then the video talks about this feeling of being stuck between two different sides of AI. It's like, on one hand, you have this constant bombardment of AI-powered ads and all these wild promises, stuff that can feel really overwhelming and confusing.
Oh, absolutely.
But then there's this whole other side, the business side, where it's less about the flashy marketing and more about serious investments in robotics and infrastructure. It's like two completely separate conversations happening at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's no wonder people feel kind of lost. You've got all these confusing AI ads popping up everywhere you look online. And at the same time, these huge companies like BlackRock and Microsoft are pouring billions with a B into AI infrastructure. So where does that leave the everyday person? It's tough to figure out where you fit into all of this.
Right. It's a lot to take in. Okay, so then the video goes deep into the world of humanoid robots, and get this, they actually show this incredible footage from the Chinese Spring Festival Gala, where these robots are dancing perfectly in sync with human performers.
Great. Really?
Yeah, and it's wild. It's like light years away from those first kind of clunky demonstrations we saw with Tesla's Optimus robot,
Yeah, I remember those.
Like, the advancements they've made in just a short amount of time are mind-blowing. But it also makes you think, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the speed at which robotics is advancing raises some pretty big questions. Like, what happens to all the jobs as robots become even more capable? And ethically, how do we handle creating these human-like machines? These dancing robots, yeah, they're cool to watch, but they're also a peek into a future that's coming at us fast. So are we even ready for it?
That's a big question, isn't it? So we've got the speed of change, the pandemic connection, and even those incredible dancing robots. But it still feels a little up in the air, where does all this leave us? Like, how are we supposed to actually navigate this AI-powered world?
One thing I really appreciated about this video is that it doesn't just leave us hanging with those big questions and scary predictions.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they actually give us some real practical advice on what we can do to prepare.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. The creator actually shares their own story, how they took the leap and launched a whole training program focused on getting people AI certified.
That's a term you hear everywhere now, AI certified. But what does that actually mean? Are we talking like become a programmer, become a data scientist? What is that?
Right. It sounds pretty intimidating. But it's interesting because they actually emphasize that AI literacy isn't just about technical skills. They break it down into these three key steps. So first, it's understanding the basics of AI, right? Like what it is, how it works, the general idea.
Makes sense.
Then it's learning the really valuable tasks
Yeah.
that AI can actually do.
Okay, so figure out what it's good at.
Exactly. And then, and this is the cool part, it's about using those skills to actually generate income, like real, tangible results.
So it's like a roadmap. Understand AI, figure out what it can do well, and then use that knowledge to make money.
Exactly. They even talk about this new breed of content creator called AI influencers.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard that one yet. AI influencers. So are these like, what, people using AI to analyze trends, create super personalized content? Are they making those crazy deepfakes that are so real they're kind of creepy?
It really makes you think about how AI could disrupt even the most creative fields. Imagine AI could figure out the formula for viral content, something even human creators might miss.
Whoa. That's a little scary, but also kind of fascinating.
Right.
So it's like AI could change the whole game.
Absolutely. But it's important to note they stress that their program isn't about churning out like cookie cutter AI experts. There's no weird downline or recruiting stuff like those old network marketing things.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they're all about giving individuals the skills to actually thrive in what they call an AI-driven economy. It's like a new industrial revolution or something.
Oh, that's a big statement.
It is, and they specifically call out these key areas where they see tons of opportunities. Things like research, speech, code, text, imaging, and video. It's a pretty wide range, which means that AI literacy could be valuable in a lot of different fields, not just tech.
Yeah, it seems like they're really trying to make AI something anyone can understand, not just the super technical people. And they talk about the money side of things too, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They emphasize the importance of understanding AI from a financial perspective, like how to use it for investing, managing assets, even navigating those ever-changing tax laws. It's a whole new level of financial literacy.
So it's like AI is going to change the way we think about money too.
Definitely. Imagine being able to use AI to analyze investment trends, maybe even predict how the market's going to move.
Wow. It all comes back to that big question, doesn't it? Is AI really bigger than the internet? The video makes a pretty bold prediction. They say only 5% of people are going to adapt to AI and actually thrive, while 95% are going to get left behind.
It's definitely a wake-up call. And it highlights just how crucial it is to be proactive, to learn, to adapt. The skills that are in high demand today, those might not even be relevant in a world where AI can do so much faster.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like the rules of the game are changing and we got to keep up. The creator even gives some specific examples of how they've used AI to grow their social media and generate income, and it's pretty impressive. But it also makes you wonder, is that just the beginning?
Right. It feels like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Like we're standing at the edge of something huge. And we have to decide, are we going to dive in and embrace the possibilities of AI, or are we just going to stand here and watch it all happen around us?
It's a powerful image, and it's the choice we're all facing. But before we jump head first, there's another important question to ask. Even with all this potential, are there things AI can't do? What sets us apart? What makes us human in a world where machines are getting smarter every day?
That's a huge question, and it's one we're going to tackle head-on in the final part of our deep dive. We'll explore the limits of AI, those unique skills we humans have, and how to find your place in this rapidly evolving world.
So we've talked a lot about what AI can do, and it's pretty clear it's powerful stuff. But is there anything AI can't do? Like,
Yep.
are there limits? That's a really great question, and it's actually the focus of the last part of this video. They emphasize that we really need to be focusing on what AI can't do, at least not yet.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and the idea is that by understanding AI's limitations, we can figure out where our human skills, our strengths, are still going to be valuable, in the future. It's like like finding our own unique edge in a world that's constantly changing around us.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's almost like a game of chess, right? Trying to figure out the moves AI can't predict.
Exactly.
And they make this really powerful analogy in the video. They say, a nation that doesn't understand tax laws, they can always be overtaxed.
Oh, wow.
Right. Likewise, a generation that doesn't understand AI will be subdued by it.
That's intense.
Yeah, it's a pretty stark warning, but it highlights why it's so important for us to really take control of our relationship with AI. It's not about being afraid of it or trying to stop its progress.
Right. It's about understanding it,
Yeah, exactly.
becoming informed, being proactive about how AI is used and how it's integrated into our lives. We have to understand its potential, and that means both the good and the bad, so we can make conscious choices about how it's developed, how it's applied. Otherwise, we just become like passive bystanders in our own future.
So how do we do that? Where do we even start?
Well, the video really stresses the importance of community, of collaboration. They say connecting with other people who are, AI savvy, sharing knowledge and supporting each other's growth, that's going to be crucial. Think of it like a collective learning process. We're all figuring this out together.
Makes sense. It can be a little overwhelming trying to navigate all this AI stuff on your own.
It really can be. But when you've got a network of people to bounce ideas off of, to learn from each other's mistakes, to celebrate each other's successes, it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely. So it's about embracing that growth mindset,
Mm.
right? Staying curious, asking questions, being willing to adapt as AI keeps evolving.
Exactly. We need to be lifelong learners, always updating our skills and our knowledge to stay ahead of the curve.
Okay, so circling back to our original question, is AI bigger than the internet? I mean, it's complex. There's not really an easy answer.
It's debatable, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the main takeaway here is that AI is a transformative force that's going to have a huge impact on the world in the coming years. And the real question is, what role are we going to play in that transformation?
Yeah, that's it, right? Are we going to be active participants shaping how AI is developed and used, or are we just going to kind of sit back and react to the changes it brings?
That's the choice we have to make. And to help us figure that out, the video ends with this really thought-provoking question. They ask, what unique skills or knowledge do you have that AI can't replicate? It's a challenge to really think about what sets us apart, what makes us uniquely human, in a world where machines are becoming, well, more intelligent every day.
It's a powerful question, and one I hope you'll all take some time to really consider. As we wrap up this deep dive, I just want to encourage you to embrace the challenge, stay curious, and never stop learning. The future of AI is still being written, and we all have a role to play in shaping it. Thanks for